Respect. That, I think, was the main reason this came up. And I understand some other board members feel they had been disrespected. I don't see that. But I don't feel I have been disrespected. I feel this whole board has been disrespected by the way that we have had speakers. But that is, again, freedom of expression. What my big concern is for that, and not saying that we're going to do anything with this policy, definitely not tonight. This was just discussion. Is I have heard from a number of teachers who they said if things don't change with the public speakers, they don't want to bring their students next fall when we're allowed to bring students again for presentations, prizes, awards, performances, instructional highlights. They don't want to bring their kids because of they would be exposed to behavior. But I also look at the behavior of some of us on the board, and I'll say I've probably not always been totally respectful either. But when we have board members who call people stupid and idiots and tell people to shut up and say things are ridiculous, then we're not showing that respect up here. We're supposed to be models. Students, children who could be watching our meetings see other behaviors and they learn. That's my biggest concern. Is just we're adults and we need to model appropriateness. That's all. But if the board members don't feel that this is something that they want to go forward with, then we don't go forward with it. That, I mean, based on what I'm hearing, that's not something we're going to go forward on. And so it's a non-issue. And my concern about making a vote about keeping the policy we already have, Mr. Abuismail, is we don't have to take a vote to keep the policy because it's already our policy. If we'd made a vote to keep the policy, then when other changes came forward in the future, maybe legal, we wouldn't be able to change it. So we have the policy now. That is our public comment policy, and we stick with it. But I did want to mention one thing. Spotsylvania County Board of Supervisors. Public comments shall not be used to address matters subject to public hearings or make political campaign speeches or private advertisements. They have that exact verbiage in their policy that they announced. So if we were going to change anything, I thought that was already I thought we already had that, to be honest. It's somewhere in policy about that. It's just not in this specific policy, that they're not supposed to make campaign. It's just not in this specific policy, because we can't campaign on school grounds. So adding something like that, if we were going to ever do anything, and I'm not saying we're going to do it, then it's just more information. That's all it is, because it's already in policy somewhere. I just can't remember where, because I know it's there. I've seen it. But hearing from the board, and that's why it's here. And that is why it came forward, was because our attorney brought it forward. It was something that had come up by one of our vice chair, and I thought, okay, we go ahead and put it on the agenda. And to what you said, no one else had seen this other than the vice chair. No one else had seen this. And if anybody had any question about anything that is ever on this agenda, you can call me. No one called me, the people who I spoke to. If you wanted to ask me a question about something on the agenda, get in contact with me. So I don't want to hear complaints that you didn't hear about it, because you can contact me. Mr. Braswell.
Madam Chair, this was it's supposed to be a discussion about public comments, and it has degraded into a discussion about how we speak to each other, which is unfortunate. We all are elected officials, and we're going to say some things that are pretty tough to one another. On certain issues, we're going to agree. There's going to be some issues we're going to disagree. Some people take it personal. Some people don't, but we keep it moving. And I just think on this matter, we need to just keep it moving. It's not, I think what Ms. Parrish was just saying was, as a result of our Madam Vice Chair bringing this issue up as a point of consideration, I thank you for showing us what the parameters of the policy actually are. And you're never conveyed to me any intent to imply that we were going to change anything tonight. So I just don't understand where that actually came into, because we're not. Nobody said that. But I just think that it's, as a board, if we can't handle information that is tough or controversial or something that goes against our grain, then we're in the wrong business. We have to listen to that. And Lord knows that when I was sitting as chair, I had to hear a lot of people make comments from both sides of the dais as well as in the public about what they liked and what they didn't like. But we just kept it moving. And so that's all we do. So we keep it moving. Nobody is, I think everyone has a right to be heard. They get a right to say what they got to say. And, sometimes up here, I may have disagreements with some people and turn right around the next moment and actually agree with them and tell them so. That's okay. That's what we're here for. And, the public has a right, because they elected us, to give us the business. And so sometimes they come in and they give us the business. So we just take it and we keep it moving. So that's all I got to say, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, as Vice Chair, can I say something, please, since this is regarding, my name was used as Vice Chair several times already. So I just want to make some clarification here. Just to remind the board, I'm tough as nails, okay? So people can come up here and comment at any point. I have no problem with that. Okay, so I just want to just clarify that, because people assume that I was offended. It's not about being offended about this, so I'll just leave that there. But I just want to point this out. As the Vice Chair, effective board engage in continuous assessments and improvements of all conditions affecting their board and the education of all students. I just want to throw that out there, because we should always be engaging in continuous improvements. We decide whether something needs to be fixed. We decide whether or not we need to look at policies and see if it still works for our communities or our school community. That's all I'm saying. We just always should be engaging in continuous improvements. How can we improve upon our board governance? That's it. So thank you. I just want to leave that out there to the public to let them know that this is why the policy that we're having this discussion today. Thank you.